Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. We got K-Max.
Good evening, and Merry Christmas season.
That's a very, what was the SNL Delicious Dish? Is that it? With, I forget the actresses' names.
Oh, Anna Gasteyer?
Yeah, that's what that sounded like.
Yes. It's wonderful. It's a holiday tradition. Yeah, it is.
To my left is Pete Schweddy.
That's right. Happy to be here, ladies.
We got Jim Sweaty, I guess.
No one can resist his delicious.
He is the Tin Man.
Schweddy's.
He's the Sweat Man.
Thank you for inviting me back.
The Contrarian.
The Contrarian.
The Mandalorian.
After our fist fight from last week, we're back.
25 punches directly to the groin.
40 lashes, 25 groin punches. Right. Groin punches it is.
Body blow, uppercut, knock him out.
So we're continuing our theme of what is a Christmas movie. At first, I wanted to find a movie that spoke to the message that we proposed in the previous episode. The idea that Christmas can mean anything to anyone, and it can be different, and that's fine. But also that not everyone gets to experience a holly jolly Christmas. So my original idea was to watch Gremlins. However, I have already talked at great lengths with my cohorts here about my views and interpretations of Gremlins already. So to watch it again with them may be a little overkill. So our conversation would just kind of be them, yes, I remember when you told me that. Yes, you told me that already. So I feel that Gremlins was also kind of part of my sales pitch to these two guys to start the podcast. Because I feel like I talked about certain movies and how you could look at them differently and see things and take things away. So a couple examples, and I remember Gremlins being one of them as I was talking with you guys. So I thought, is there a movie that appeals to each of us that can still be open to interpretation, that can be Christmas, and challenge our criteria? And then just looking at the list of movies that we've watched recently, I feel Tin Man has been longing for some machine guns. Some military action and thrills, big explosions and events. And then I thought, all right, well, what does K-Max demand from quality movies? And that's hope. And now, Mr. Vozly. What does Mr. Vozly want? Well, I just want the ability to exercise the mind. I want to challenge myself, challenge my own criteria. And does such a Christmas movie exist? The answer is yes. And based on our collective common beliefs and faith, I chose Children of Men. 2006, directed by, again, names, you know us, Alfonso Cuarón, based on P.D. James' novel of the same name, starring Clive Owen. I don't think I've ever heard her name pronounced. So here's my guess. Claire Hope Ashti, Julianne Moore, and Michael Caine. Who's got a Michael Caine impression?
I got a bad one.
If we got the perfect phrase, we can all get one, but gotta give it a shot.
Michael Caine with a stroke, perhaps. I don't know.
With a what?
When he had a stroke. If he had a stroke.
Oh.
What is the one where he was Austin Powers' dad?
Let's hear it.
Something where the old 60s and 70s where she sat on a turtle or something like that. I forgot. Yes. 60s and 70s.
It's all about effort for me. I love it.
Michael Caine.
Okay, here's mine. You guys ready?
Look at me.
That's right. He did the nod. He did the Batman nod.
I just nodded.
He did the nod. He did the nod.
I had
with
a coffee in my hand,
He had the cup in his
stopped
hand.
and nodded.
He did the.
And it was perfect. It was probably the best one.
Like Bruce Willis says, I'm going to play with a look. I'm going to play with a look. Director approaches him. Why didn't you say the line? Nah. I'm going to play with a look. That's what Vozly did.
So, Children of Men, right now, seems like quite the stretch to call it a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it fits my criteria.
And maybe we won't, but at its core portrayal of what we'll discuss, it has to fit mine. It has to fit all of ours. If our faith is true. But
I do love your mission accomplished, by the way. Finding something to tickle each of our fancies.
yes,
Wonderful job.
and also
Tickle
a movie.
all of our fancies.
That
And
appeals
you
to all
found
of
a
us.
darn good movie while you're at it. Guess who's all back on sync? The train's back on the track, baby.
So it's true, though. I did feel reinvigorated to dive into a movie that had so much depth. And I wanted to say this before we go any further, that this movie has so much going on and so much meaning and symbolism and music and choices that are on purpose. We are not going to get to all of it. This is within the parameters of our chapter on Christmas. So it's going to have more to do with how it relates to that. So keep that in mind going forward, because we could probably spend hours on this movie. There's going to be things that we're not even going to touch that I would love to in the future. Maybe we'll circle back to it in the future if it fits criteria again.
On further review, part 2.
Part deux.
Because like music was such a big one. Like they had I don't know artists, but different genres of music, and you had like the chorus or whatever it is singing, and like almost like a Ave Maria type of song, and then you had I don't know, Beatles sounding things. I don't know. I don't think the Beatles were actually in it, but like that type of sound.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, I won't go any further because I'm sure we're going to miss a whole bunch by now, including that.
Ruby Tuesday song or something.
Yes,
right? Ruby
yeah.
Tuesday. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday.
And I was happy to return to a movie that had so much symbolism and kind of hidden meanings and things that you could interpret that you might think, well, that's a real loose trail that you're chasing there. Then something comes up later, or you interpret something else and it matches what you're finding, and now all of a sudden it's, well, maybe I'm onto something, and you can keep diving further and further and try out different things and relate it to different themes in the movie. So I guess I'll come right out and say it. To me, it mirrors, in an abstract way, but it mirrors like the nativity story and the birth of a savior.
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, you say, oh yeah, well, the baby was born. Like, yes, but there's other things, other feelings that help to convey that, I guess.
Yeah, I got the feeling like it was like that dystopian future using like almost an Old Testament story, like how the Book of Eli kind of feels when you see that one, where it's like, oh, it's like an Old Testament story set in a dystopian future, and it kind of felt like that for me when I watched it.
So first impressions, because I know you've both have seen this one already. First impressions from when you first watched this movie.
I'll go first. First time I watched it, I remember those long tracking shots. So they had a few scenes that were like where there was a lot of action going on. And the first time I watched it, I don't think I was in a movie theater or sat down to purposefully watch the movie. I kind of just had it on, and I was like, oh, this seems interesting. Clive Owen was in another movie that I watched that I really liked. I think it was Inside Man. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I like Clive Owen from the last one. Let's see what's on this. And I kind of was passively watching it. And the one scene where they're in the car and everyone's kind of like being jovial, having a good time. I think they're laughing. Oh, he's shooting like the ping pong ball back and forth. And that's when the car that's on fire rolls down the hill and it blocks them. And they start getting attacked. And the whole scene was shot the entire time straight through. So the camera's kind of just pivoting back and forth and then following the action. And I remember being like, that was such a cool shot that in my head, I still remember how that shot felt the first time I watched it almost 20 years ago. So it was really cool. That scene itself just stuck with me. And then the next few times I watched it, I got more and more of the context around it. And the last time I watched it was 2 days ago. But I sat down and was very particular about trying to pick up what I could have.
That's cool.
We're going to get grilled by Corey when we're in here. So, so I'm like, I got to kind of be on guard.
It's funny. I often feel the same way. I'm like, all right, come on, don't look like an idiot tonight. Don't look like an idiot. No whammies.
Just psyching yourself up in the bathroom.
Right. Looking at myself, smack my face. Come on.
Yeah.
Idiot, come on.
And I usually like to look into themes in movies and reviews from YouTubers and stuff like that, just to see, just to hear their side and to see if that makes sense to the ideas I have. I was very particular about not looking into them just in case, because you were like, don't look into them, don't try to use it to feed a theme or an idea, just try to see it as it is. And so I tried to do that for this one.
I appreciate that. I think this movie it called for a level of research just within its own dialogue and stories and things that it says, because you don't know what things are. Like Michael Caine's character Jasper, he said the word, was it Shanti?
Shanti.
So it was like, what does that even mean? Or like Britishisms, where it's like, well, I don't know what they're talking about, so I got to look up what this word means. But not seeing other people's interpretation of the story as a whole, I think is pretty good for our lens of the movie. At least for this one, because we're trying to figure out why. Why is Mr. Vozly saying this is kind of like a Christmas movie? Why is he making us watch this one?
Right. And I remember looking through it and I'm like, I don't see one Christmas tree, one present, one Santa reference. And I was like, there's no magic. Wait a minute. There's a little bit of magic here.
Magic.
And I think he even calls it magical. I think he calls the child magical.
A miracle. Yeah.
Miracle. Maybe it's a miracle he used, but yeah.
K-Max, first impressions.
First impression, which is funny, I didn't see it coming. Nevins and I, one of our listeners, saw this movie.
We all have really cool names, by the way.
Yeah. For real. Nevins and I saw this movie on Christmas Day 2006 when it first came out.
On Christmas Day.
On Christmas
That's when
Day.
it was released, yep.
And I wasn't even really aware of that. I made no connection to the fact that it was released on Christmas Day. Ooh. But we had this habit. We don't anymore because he hates me and I hate him. That's not true. It is true.
It's true
it's
and it's not true.
It's a weird, crooked way of... it's a weird term of endearment between the two of us. But we used to do stuff like this all the time. The love is gone, I guess. But we used to do things... We would make a point during the holidays to go to a movie or something and see something and have popcorn and just be... nurture our friendship and watch a stupid movie and talk about it after. Well, it wasn't a stupid movie. It was a great movie. We both loved it, I remember. Neither of us commenting that it was released on Christmas. Neither of us making any connections to any kind of Christmas or Christ-like thing. Mm-hmm. He's not a very religious person. He's one of the best human beings I know. And he would quickly point that out to me if it was something that I thought hit him in the face with. You know what I mean? Like saying, hey, what are your thoughts on this? You're one of these God people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't remember having that conversation. But my first impression was thinking back that the irony that we saw it on Christmas Day, and we have a podcast listener who will probably hear this, and maybe remember that day more than I did, a lot better. And he said, "No, we did talk about religion, and we did talk about the birth of a savior.
Yeah.
You know, we did. I did have questions about that, and you ignored me. What kind of Christian are you?"
It was 18 years ago, right?
Yeah, 18 years
Yeah,
ago, man.
so, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. But that's the one thing, that first impression. And I remember that two people who like movies for very different reasons, Nevins and I, both loved it. So that's my first impression.
Okay.
Cool.
So I remember watching it when I was in college, I believe, and I want to say it was for a class. So it was the start of me really diving into movies. And so I remember this one, I liked it, but I was like, this is probably in an advanced class, and right now I'm a beginner. So I'll pick up some things, but I'll look forward to rewatching this again in the future. And so that was my thought when I first watched it, because I've probably watched the movie 4 or 5 full times now. So I remember getting a little bit older, still in that program, and rewatching it after kind of people discussed, and because that was, I think the big thing that piqued my interest, where I'm like, well, I'm going to have to revisit that, was they're saying how religious the movie was. And I was like, what? And so I was like, okay, I'll learn more things in school, come back to this when I think I've got a better grasp of how they portray things in movies and storytelling and all that. And so I revisited this movie later on, and it was... I got one of those feelings watching a movie. I think I've described it a few times, where it just reignites your love for cinema. And because I remember seeing all these loose symbols and connections to things, and thinking they just snuck that right in there, didn't they? And then after rewatching it that second time, it was like, wow, this movie is jam-packed with things. Because on the surface, it just seems like a journey of this guy meeting up with this miracle pregnant woman, and just trying to get her to safety. And the premise seemed simple enough, but then when you break down how it's told and what you're shown and what you hear, it gets pretty deep pretty quick. And not just intellectually, but just emotionally and cinematically. So this has always kind of been in my mind to sit down and have a good discussion about this movie. And so rewatching it this week, again, I feel like it was such a shame that it's not a shame, but it's in our Christmas episode block here, our Christmas chapter, and not for just general, symbolism and music and some other chapter. But we will talk about symbolism and dialogue quite a bit today. So that was my long-winded quote first impression of it.
I like it.
Nice.
So I asked you guys, why would I consider this a Christmas movie? I just said ultimate hope. I said symbolism. I said use of names and dialogue. And I gave you guys the lyrics to a well-known Christmas song, "O Holy Night." And I gave you specific lines from it. And can you guys kind of go through your thought process of why I gave you the specific lines of "O Holy Night"?
Well, the thrill of hope right away comes through. This hope after, long lay the world in sin and error pining. Just this hope for 18 years there hasn't been a new baby born, and just saying that's the end of humanity. This is it. Mm-hmm. And then they lose the youngest known human, and then there's more panic. Mm. And so it's almost like at a precipice where the world just falls into disarray and to further decay until this hope appears. Yeah, I think the actual lyrics that you gave it's one of my favorite Christmas songs. You know, the lyrics that you gave were like, I think the ones that stuck with me is "Long lay the world in sin and error pining." Just that 18 year, I can't imagine how the world would react if we had 18 years with no new kids.
Right.
We would be. I mean, I don't think we would make it that long before we somehow blew ourselves up or did something desperate.
And like the way that they portray the world kind of seems like that's what they did. You had schools that were broken down and grown in, and you had rebels and whoever else, and fighting and wars and
religious, like zealots.
Yes.
You had religious zealots. You had countries that were in total disarray where everyone was kind of flocking to England because at one, I guess England had a somewhat of a stable society, but that was falling apart also. Mm-hmm. And everyone was kind of flooding in. And so you had people in cages and Fugees, they called all the refugees. Yeah. They had like a nickname for them all, Fugees. Mm. But yeah, that seemed like it was a very hopeless state, like everything's going down. And even your main character had was an activist who became like a disgruntled bureaucrat who was the most apathetic character. Because everyone, the very first scene, you have all these people staring at the camera at a coffee shop. They're all watching the news. And it was right after Baby Diego.
Baby Diego,
that was stabbed. And he was the youngest person alive. And so it was like a big event that the youngest person still alive was now dead. And he kind of just works his way through the crowd. Yeah, I'll have a coffee. Like he's ignoring the news. Like he don't really care. Gets his coffee and then weasels his way back out because everyone's still staring at the TV.
Yeah.
I like when he gets back to work too, and he just like doesn't feel like being there. He's like, "Yeah, I'm super affected by Diego's death. Can I go home?"
He uses it as an excuse to bounce. Yeah. Yep.
So the other lyrics that I quoted for you guys, they're right in line with the rest of the song too. So till he appeared and the soul felt its worth, a thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices. For yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Mm-hmm. So as I went through this movie, the thrill of hope before anything like you came Max like popped up, and then I thought to myself, well, what happens if I look at this song, and I look at each line? To me, I could point out in the movie matching up with. Again, in an abstract way, because to me it's an abstract way of telling the nativity, but it all fit to me. So, you guys, the long lay the world in sin and error pining, we got that where the humanity is just kind of crumbling in on itself because it has no hope at the moment, and it needs something, So till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. Again, abstract, and the way that the movie kind of sells itself is that, children of men is like a broad term of just people of the world as one. So, it's the earth's people, not, I wouldn't say not, oh, well, men got us into this, that's the men's problem, and that's why we're children of men. It's just humanity as one. And so there's a lot of inclusion, there's a lot of cross between male and female and names that relate to both male and female. So Julian, Dylan, they're all names that could be male or female. And I thought that was pretty. I thought
like
it was intentional to be more inclusive, where it's almost like you could have a random name because you're all one. You're all
right.
You're all children of men. And even when they're at like the is it Brexhill? At the end, the
Bexhill. Yeah.
The everyone seems to speak a different language than one another, and it's just a melting pot of people and cultures and whatever. But again, that's Children of Men. That's all. You took all of your people, all the world's people, and you just mixed them together, and that's what you guys. People communicating in the most basic of ways, gesturing and pointing and drawing, and the language might not be there, but they're still able to communicate with one another. And I thought that represented the Children of Men while also being so diverse, working together.
Yeah.
And so when we get till he appeared and the soul felt its worth, obviously the birth of the Savior there, and we get the baby being born, and we see everyone just stop and let the Theo, Key, and the baby just peacefully escape. And all the soldiers are looking on, all the people in the building are looking on, and to me that's when people felt like people and not just acquaintances or enemies. For a second
Others.
there.
They're others. Yeah.
Right. There's people that recognize that this is a big moment. So how do you think that? Do you guys think that kind of matches like that line in that song?
I think it does.
I
don't think
would
could
say
expand
so.
on it too much.
Yeah, well, like the thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices. So like they're in the midst of like actively killing each other for it to freeze and then have people like look on in awe in the middle of it. That couldn't be more. This guy's going to kill me. We're like an army set up shooting at each other, fighting, like actively trying to kill each other. And all of it stops because they hear the baby crying and they're like, that's a baby crying? Like it's... And you felt the weight of that too in the movie because it's near the end when you kind of have the dystopian hopelessness throughout the movie, and then you kind of see how it affects everyone, and then to have the baby being right there and like in the middle of a heavy conflict, and it freezes everyone. And so the weight of that you really feel it when you're watching this movie.
And the cinematography just really, I mean, again, I can barely say the word but I know what good cinematography looks like. I can't tell you how to do it but I know what it looks like when I see it. I'm like, wow, this is shot in such a cool way.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that thrill of hope, and what James is saying remind me of that. It's a musical called All Is Calm. It's about the Christmas truce of 1914 on the Western Front.
That. Yeah.
And I actually seen it a couple times, a couple productions of it, and when I saw that scene where James is talking, the Tin Man is talking about it, once again, I'm so cryptic. In the Children of Men, it gave me that same exact feeling of sworn enemies. Like, I just saw you kill my compadre. I saw you kill my comrade just now, and I'm ready to kill you right now. We both have our guns drawn, and yet we hear that baby cry, and we are just superseded. All of our hatred, all of our fear, all of our struggle, our conflict is all superseded by this great thrill of hope. And that was it. The Christmas truce, that musical, was on the Western Front in no man's land. And one German soldier goes out and Christmas Eve and starts singing Still Not, which is a Christmas carol, a traditional Christmas carol. And others start singing, and they have a truce that whole night, that whole evening. They play soccer, they drink together, they sing songs, they talk about each other's families. There's just a truce, and it really happened. It's a true story that these two sides that fought over no man's land, they would fight for months at a time for 100 yards or 20 yards. They'd go over the top and lose half of their platoon, and then they'd go back with licking their wounds, and then they would take an offensive, and they fought there was so much conflict for so many months for so little progress, and they were just at this stalemate. And something happened. There was a catalyst that was injected that caused that peace for that little bit of time. And they're still singing about it today, 100 years later. Imagine something that could be introduced into the world that we can still sing about thousands of years later. That's a thrill of hope.
Yeah.
And when I hear that song, it gives me goosebumps because I'm thinking, if there's a movie that inspires us to look at those lyrics that can point us back to the ultimate thrill of hope, in my opinion, man, let's jump into that. And then, so watching the movie, I'm thinking, I'm looking at these lyrics and watching the movie, I'm like, I'm getting the goosebumps right here. I'm getting the chicken skin because I'm feeling it in my plums. See, I just ruined the whole thing right there. But I'd like, seriously, when Voz sent those lyrics,
Yeah.
it almost brings tears to my eyes how powerful it is, if I can be honest.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like I said, I started with a thrill of hope and looked at the lyrics. I said, I can relate to this all, and as they're marching, that is when you get those goosebumps where you can look on each soldier's face and see their specific reaction. Like a couple soldiers they just kind of, they're amazed at that something like this is happening, and some of them are looking at it like anyone here would, oh, you got a little baby, kind of like looking at it. And so each soldier has personality when they're looking at this thing, and to see so many faces as they're coming down like this aisle, and you just see wave and wave of soldiers looking at these three people, including the baby, just brings, you can see the hope in every single of those actors' faces. And so then the next line we got, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. I thought, you could go very literal at this point in the movie. For me, there was the fighting going on, right? And they escape on the boat, right? And they're paddling, and they look above and they see the jets flying over and presumably just carpet bombing this whole area. And you see the lights flash in the distance. And to me, it was kind of a new and glorious morn, where it was like the flash of light, almost like a sunrise. And it was like a new, fresh beginning. And we're starting fresh with this new idea of hope with Theo, Key, and now she named it Dylan at this point. So it just felt like that was the new start to things right there. Because everyone had some political idea about this baby, but when it comes down to it, this group right here was just trying to get it to safety and
to survive
and present it for the future.
Right. They was getting pulled in multiple directions. Multiple factions had their hands in what should or shouldn't be done with this child, and then started attacking them, started attacking everyone around them, started killing. The people who were supposed to protect them, the fishes, were like, had killed Jasper, and we're going to kill him. We're going to kill, we're going to take the baby for our own political move or whatever it is.
Man, talk about, not illusion, but talk about like real world uses of Christ throughout history.
Yeah.
Conquest, manifest destiny. All these ugly things, even today.
Yeah, crusades.
Maybe even more so today, where people use Christ and the ideals behind Christ and the ideals that some of us hold very precious and very true, and use them for ugly things.
Yep, they weaponized the cross.
Yes.
And so the last of the lyrics, fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. There's a couple instances where you could see fall on your knees. One soldier, when they're walking out, literally goes to his knees and gives the cross.
Sign of the cross, yeah.
And but you could also argue maybe Luke, when he's upstairs and he sees the baby and he can't stand, he's just kind of in a seated position. You could kind of argue that's because he's also conveying how he felt when he first saw the baby. Like, oh, I forgot how tiny they were, and just kind of rejoicing at seeing a newborn, even though he was kind of in the middle of fighting back.
In the midst of shooting while getting shot at, it's still like like almost brought to tears
Right.
with the baby's presence.
And to me, just his body language felt more submissive than, like, yes, he's shooting back, but he's not like standing up. He's not. There's no like attack position. It's a submissive defensive,
Like a defensive
position.
Yeah.
And but what I relate it to most was Theo at the end when he's bleeding out and presumably passes away right there.
Mm-hmm.
But his head goes down kind of to the side. To me, it was as if he was bowing to the Savior, the the newborn.
His character definitely made the entire journey, the arc for his character, going from the most apathetic character, like couldn't care less about baby Diego. Oh, he's a prick anyway.
Right.
Like to being the one guy who is like delivering this child,
That-
carrying
his-
this child,
his
fighting.
Only, his only motive is to get
That's
that
it.
Yeah.
the key and the baby to the future.
to
Beautiful.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I found it really neat, and I might be jumping the gun, so stop me. Oh, I know you will.
Stop.
Like hammer time. The idea of him like as a Joseph to Mary.
Oh yeah, we'll
right?
get there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean
Yeah,
that
you can-
just
you can stop right there.
I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss that what James is talking about, like how he came to that point, and he realized I'm a tool here.
Yeah.
So as he's dying, but also bowing at the same time and lowering, the ending happens. Children of Men title shows up, and then you hear babies' laughter,
Children
and
laughter. Yeah.
playing, and to me, the ultimate sound of hope and joy is hearing those kids. So,
Right.
hear the angel voices, like a sound of triumph, a sound of hope
like
and
that.
peace.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that's pretty cool.
So, like I said, all these lines to me just stuck out like a sore thumb after I made the connection.
Oh, that's cool.
So I wanted to bring that up. Like, I don't know, who knows what's intentional and what's not, but it fits. So,
Yeah. Okay.
and just the how the story is told, what happens in the story. So just kind of I wanted to outline the nativity. If you guys have anything to add, go for it. But so in general, I had angel Gabriel announcement. Gabriel visits Mary in Nazareth to announce she will give birth to Jesus. Census is ordered. Joseph takes Mary to Bethlehem. And I have in parentheses, participate in census ordered by Caesar Augustus. Birth, Mary gives birth to Jesus in manger, no room at an inn. Visit by shepherds. Angel appears to shepherds in fields and tells them that Jesus has been born. Visit by wise men. Wise men visit Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. Gifts of gold, frankincense, myrrh. Then Matthew, Luke, and specifically Luke 2, 1 through 20. So any broad strokes to add to
To the
that.
quick
Yeah.
bullet points.
Yeah.
Just when he first when Key first shows Clive Owen's character that she's pregnant.
I mean, like to the
sorry.
actual nativity, because we can relate.
I'm like, yeah, there's not. They're in a barn surrounded by animals, and he's like, Jesus Christ.
right.
So because we'll
didn't want to hit too hard on it right away.
we'll be relating what we talk about for the rest of the pod to like the doings of the nativity as
So
well.
we are biblical allusions.
Yeah.
throughout. Okay.
Does that, you think that's enough to lay down for the nativity, or is there any other big?
I think
bullet
so. I
points for
think
it?
there's one more thing where the angel appearing to Elizabeth, Mary's cousin, talking about the birth of John the Baptist. That's going to kind of precede. I don't know if there's any illusion. I was looking for it.
forerunner.
I was
Yes.
looking for it in the Children of Men to see if there was another. I know there
Illusion
wasn't another
connected
one
that one?
born, but if there was something like that. So it just-
Yeah, a forerunner.
Right, I was looking. There
path-
wasn't
a path
that I
maker.
could see, but I'm thinking that is something that is crucial to the nativity story. Is that because honestly, getting down a rabbit hole here, but like Mary
Maybe it's Baby Diego's death.
Yeah, right. I'm thinking a little bit, but
Okay.
I was thinking about Mary leaned on Elizabeth, her cousin, like almost like saying, "Here's what happened," and Elizabeth saying, "Yeah, that makes sense because here's what happened with me." You know, not like another virgin type thing,
Right,
but
right.
like I was told this, so you can believe this because I'm a regular person like you are, and I was told this miraculous thing. You know.
And also, my husband can't talk no more.
Right, right. So I always feel like that's left out a lot out of the nativity story, and I thought, were they going to be clever and add some of that? Because it is, I think it's a huge part of like, not to get too theological, I guess, but like a huge part of matching up with like Old Testament prophecies.
Yeah.
The fact that, so I don't know, you know, and I just thought,
Do you,
That might be too deep to connect to.
well, what do you think
This story,
of?
but-
Because I didn't go that far either.
'cause I was
but-
thinking Baby Diego in my head, but I'm like, I couldn't connect it.
So if you were to tell the nativity to someone that's not familiar with it, broad strokes, how would you convey that portion? Like, how would you explain it?
I feel like that answered my curiosity. I wouldn't include that to someone who it was just now. I was just now presenting it to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I was going to present. I was going to see how far you could take Julian's character when it came to that.
Oh, that's true. Because he was almost kind of a martyr
She was out, like,
by her own group,
right.
right? If I remember it correct, Julianne Moore's character.
Yes.
Great casting, by the way.
That was cool. She had a very cool part in this movie. And also, she was the one character who had the contact for the Human Project. No one else had any of the information. They went to her directly. So
Right.
after she died, they weren't certain of anything. They were just hoping that everything was going to work out.
Interesting.
Like, is this supposed to be there? And they ask even Clive Owen, like, Human Project is real? And he's like, it better be. We got
that's
nothing
right.
else. We
So
got
I
other
mean,
options.
I like that connection that you just made. Because I didn't go that far with it, but I was like, Julian, you know, I got some other things in here, but I like that connection. I think a little bit better.
Me too.
But you know, the rest of the story kind of lines up with it a little bit, where they have to travel to another spot, and that's where she gives birth.
Well, here's another thought. At the time, all the children that were 2 years and younger were killed. There were no other children. Any other child that was alive, they had to flee in order to keep Jesus alive.
Yeah.
So there were no children that age and younger. I have heard once from someone saying that those children are part of the 144,000 that likely later on Revelations type stuff. I was like, that's an interesting idea. No, nothing to back that up. But there are no other children at the time. Like all the I don't know how that connects, but like there are no children in this movie either. But there was children, like everyone that was 2 years and younger at the time were all killed. Like we're all put to death because the prophecy or the belief that the Savior was going to be in that group was going to be a rival to the Caesar at the time.
Yeah, the
And so
authority.
they had everyone killed. So there were no children also. So that's an interesting point.
So some more abstract, you know, when it comes to shepherds and wise men and all that. So I feel like I can't go on with the rest of that without getting into specific character symbolisms. And even, so I told you to keep track of names and dialogue as well, because there were different origins of names and different languages used that, you know, nothing, and you knew in this movie nothing was going to be on accident. It was going to be used for a reason. And so, you know, we'll go by name meanings for right now. But Theo, you know, like God's gift or relating to God in some capacity. So already. And his last name was
Farron? Farron.
Farron.
Yeah.
So Farron, I think I had. So Farron was like a type of servant or like journey. So
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
you know, very on the nose.
Yeah,
right
very
there.
much so. Theology, theophany.
Julian. So this was pretty interesting, I thought. So it says, I looked up name meanings and all that, and Julian was like youthful or connection to Julius, as in Caesar Augustus ordering census, and it was kind of like I thought a loose but still a connection there, and the idea that I mentioned where names were kind of crisscross with genders and kind of children of men. So Julian would be a different form of Julius. So it's kind of in that arena where it's
Right.
there might be something more there, but I didn't. I feel like I didn't have enough time to really dive into
And the name must have
those
been
meanings there.
particular because her real name is Julianne. Like, it's so close. Why wouldn't you just call her by her regular name? Like,
Just spell it right, would you?
yeah.
Key, we mentioned this before. Like, I mean, I would think very on the nose. Key is in like key to the future, type of thing.
Yeah.
And anyone stop me if you guys want to expand on any of these. Jasper, I thought was very interesting. Said to be a wise man name was Casper. So a form of Casper would be Jasper of India. So like the whole idea of frankincense, and then he
Yeah. The
As a
wise men
weed.
from the east. That's
and remember he's the one that says shanti,
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 shanti.
which
Yeah.
is Indian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sanskrit.
Hindu. Or, yeah, Sanskrit. Peace.
Yeah. So like that one to me fits so well. I was like, oh, wow. Like,
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So like another form of
He definitely had a wise
man.
man vibe
Yeah,
to him. There's
exactly.
almost
Yeah.
nothing he said that was
Like-
wrong, incorrect, or misleading. It was always, even when he was like, "Oh, I'm going to talk my way out of this," he knew he was going to die. And
Right. Like he knew he was very wise.
he was very wise. Yeah.
Kind of like a hippie savant.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah. Like, yeah, that was like a cool,
Like
like,
a hip-
little, yep, like a weird hippie.
go pot smoking buddy.
Yeah, there's a, yeah. Oh, there's definitely a word I'm trying to say, but it's,
He had a playfulness. Bill Walton.
Bill Walton.
He was Bill Walton of commentators.
But he had a fun, understanding wisdom to him that was cool to watch his character in that in the movie.
And then I have a kind of a connected little bit here, because the ending takes place on water, and water can be a symbol for a lot of things. And to me, because there's fog surrounding it, they're leaving the old world behind, the world of war and conflict. They're leaving that behind them, and they're going on to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like literally the name of the boat, Tomorrow, for the human project. So all of these things, coming together on water. And so I'm thinking, okay, so it's like new world, you're a new frontier, because the rest of it was concrete jungle, rest of the movie. So we're in a new frontier here. We're going to tomorrow. And then I looked up the names here for Marika, Ukrainian, the way that it was spelled anyway, I guess. Connection to Mary, right? The name Mary. But interesting phrase here when I looked up the meaning, said star of the sea. Okay. So you think of, follow the star, right? Lead you to the nativity, and Dylan comes from Welsh, son of the sea.
Huh. Interesting.
So
It's interesting.
yeah. So I mean, I didn't think it could be on accident. The idea that the sea is the water is this new frontier where, the new and glorious morn has started, with this baby, and just happens to take place on water, where you have the names of these people that have to do with, star of the sea and son of the sea, and it made too much sense to not count
to not think it was connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then you had Luke, and maybe you guys can expand a little bit more on Luke, because from my understanding, as in, the book of Luke, he didn't really become a believer until after, like, the story of Christ, I guess. So, like, after the death, that's when I was like, okay. And then it was more like order, like, here's what happened, here's what happened, here's what happened. So maybe you guys have a little bit more to expand on that?
I don't think so. I know that as far as accounts, because it was done, again, I wasn't there, so I can always say that. But scholars, that's all I can say, right? It was like scholars. And it's funny how when theologians look at texts and artifacts, it's not looked at with the same amount of, this is a platform, I guess, the same amount of critical acceptance as other scholarly texts, even when the evidence is overwhelming of artifacts and dates and sources. And so Luke is such a narrative, why we read Luke 2 for the nativity, and we read different parts of Luke to get more of a narrative, a story type of a devotional almost with some of the Gospels, because seeing it was written after the events happened, almost like a recollection, a collection of stories. I like it because of that. If the other ones have their reason, their purpose for being, like Matthew being more of a bookkeeper, like this is this, and this is it came from this, and this is the lineage here, and here's how this ties into the Old Testament, and here's how he's the son of David, and here's how he's the,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have Luke going back and you have Luke going back and saying, now let me smooth. You've given the rough. You put the structure up. And then you put the drywall up and the nails. Now I'm going to go in. I'm going to plaster over where the nails are. I'm going to go and smooth it out a little bit. I don't know if that talks about anything what you said at all, but that's one thing when I think of the book of Luke and I think of like Luke's story, and his role in writing some of the other books of the Bible. Again, I wasn't there, but what scholars say, how they did it, he had a big role in kind of pulling it all together, kind of like bringing the stories together and making them fit a little bit. But when I think about him, I think of like not after the fact, but because us looking back 2,000 plus years ago, everything, it all just seems like a little dot back there. But there was a long stretch of time that scripture was given and written and then collected and organized. And as a person of faith, you're taught that it's all ordained of God, that he spoke through holy men of old, you know what I mean? And then preserved the scriptures exactly how they're supposed to be for us today. And that's hard sometimes for me to wrap my head around as a believer. And so as a scholar, it's even more difficult sometimes to look at it and say, these are people who studied, who lived, who experienced, and then recorded. And then, oh yeah, by the way, God used them to do it exactly how it's supposed to be. I can see how people struggle with that sometimes, you know?
So when it comes to the character of Luke, because I mean, obviously his name is Luke, and most of the nativity you're looking in Luke.
I mean, that's what Charlie Brown. That's why
Yeah. Yes.
So I kind of saw that and his whole faction of more the, I guess, the dogma and here's the story of it. Here's the documentation, and here's the official stuff. And you had that different from how Theo and Key and their story was going. And Theo and Key is just all emotion and hope and, I guess, ideals and values rather than, like Luke in the movie was more like politics and more, well, yes, we need to bring, like they're fighting for something good.
Right.
But his view on it was a little bit more twisted. Mm-hmm. And like, you mentioned before where the Word of God and Christ has been used to do a lot of evil things. And I feel like that kind of was almost in the same arena where it was like, here's our title. We're the fishes. We do this, we do that. And it's based on this. Here's our mission statement and here's our goal. And when it came down to it, it was more about they're missing the meaning of having a child brought into this world. So I kind of saw that too, where people in general can miss the meaning of what's written and forget what it actually means, what it means to have Christ the Savior born.
Yeah.
So that was my thought on the Luke character, because the character in the movie, like I said, he's fighting for something good. And just kind of, that's where he's rooted, though, is what his goals were.
A little more misguided until...
Yeah. So, like, more based on, I guess, the Bible's text rather than the Bible's meaning. Okay. Is how I kind of saw that. So we also had Miriam, and the meaning of her name... wished for child, loving devotion to new arrival, faith.
Huh? Wow, that's all right. Yeah. That's her character directly. She's the one who played Trunchbull and Matilda, and she was a wet nurse, right? Is that what she was in the movie? Because she was helping deliver babies. Not a wet nurse.
Midwife.
Midwife. That's what I'm looking for. She was a midwife who had told the story about her delivering babies and that they were. Miscarriage, no children, then called friends, called other friends, other hospitals, and she was telling the story about when everyone started losing the children, when they stopped arriving. It was neat seeing her. It was her character.
So that was the bulk of the names that I looked up that I thought were important to this story and to relating it to the nativity. And I thought it was pretty interesting. Again, everything relates back to, well, everything relates to everything in this movie, but children of men, the idea of all of humanity. And so you have all of these different names from different origins. You had a Ukrainian name mixing in with a Welsh name, and it all kind of matching, the
what their role is.
Yeah.
That is cool. Has he done any other movies? The director for this one?
Yeah, he's pretty famous.
He did Prisoner of Azkaban.
Really?
I think he did. He did
Cool.
One of the Harry Potter films, if I'm not mistaken. His name was familiar.
Have you had any ones that he wrote that was very similar to this type of movie, where it was?
I can't recall specific ones, but I know he's an established, famous filmmaker.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to add in with Theo a little bit. We talked a little bit about how he was, I think before we started recording. So he started off as an activist with Julian, and then their son died, at which point he seemed to have sold out, and became, would you say, a bureaucrat?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of part of the system, when we see him introduced. But the idea of hope, reversed all of that. And he kind of, this kind of segues into symbolism as well. Because, K-Max, you started this, but, the idea of a Joseph character. where it's kind of ushering in, understanding what's at stake here, understanding that, there's no funny business here. This is the real thing, and it's a miracle. Now it's up to you to help usher it along here.
Such a huge lesson, such a huge Christmas lesson right there for. And I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I'm a Christian, and this season holds so much weight and such a lesson right there that hope changes things, that hope inspires things, but hope also challenges. The hope doesn't just say, yay, presents, and yay, peace, and yay. But hope sometimes inspires work. If you didn't have that hope, you could just go around being a thrill-seeking Ed, doing whatever you want to. But it's a hope there's a transaction that can take place because of hope, too. Because you're like, if I really have this hope and I say I have it, there should be signs that I have that hope. There should be fruit. There should be works. The works don't earn you the hope, right? But there should be things that you see in someone who has hope.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. It's not oh man, I better get on my hope. No, hope's a joyful, thrilling thing. And man, it's a nice kind of praise moment because, we're talking about maybe a darker film and how can this be a Christmas? Well, it might be the most Christmassy Christmas movie ever.
We'll stop there.
Yes.
But me and Tin Man were talking beforehand, too, and I told him, I said, everything you're shown in this movie tells you to your face how dark and in despair and gloomy and depressing this world is and is on the track to continuing. Everyone dies. Everyone, it's dark, it's dirty, there's weapons everywhere, threatened everywhere, people are swearing at you, and it doesn't really get any better.
Right.
And
It gets
before
worse.
and before you know it, you have this overwhelming feel of hope, when the child is born, and when other people realize that it's born as well. And so Theo, a very, very on the nose symbol for the Joseph character, and I think it really sticks out when he's looking for shoes and he finds like the sandals.
He's got none that fit him, and
like, he's wearing
sandals.
And we watched like the last, like, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie while we're preparing for the podcast here. And you guys probably saw me write notes, but do you guys remember Theo's last words?
Didn't he say Jesus?
I think it says Jesus.
He says, "Oh, Jesus."
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yep.
So,
And then he bows. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in the way that I perceived it, the bow and then the new and glorious morn there. So that was my Theo as a symbol for that.
Just spent and totally emptied for Jesus.
Serve the
God help me, that's
servant,
good.
right? Servant.
Yeah.
That's the
Farron.
yummiest of payoffs, my friend.
Yep.
And I wanted to point out signs of the, well, we'll go into other symbolism too, but signs of the nativity, kind of allusions to it. They're on the farm there for a couple scenes, and when she presents herself, she's among the cows, and at the end, after she's had the child, they're on the staircase, and there's like chickens walking around. So signs of farm life kind of sprinkled around to kind of connect to that idea.
Yeah. I don't mind. It's funny. I didn't mind in this movie that they kind of poked fun a little bit. Like when she was kind of like covering herself, like they make fun of like the virgin conception. They kind of.
Well, I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'll expand on that too, because that pose very specific. In terms of art.
Yep.
Venus.
Yeah.
Birth of Venus.
Yeah.
Have you actually seen that? You're the only friend that I know that would actually have a chance of actually seeing that.
Hold on, let me see where it's at right now. I
Okay,
might have
no,
seen it.
That's
I might
not
have
to
seen
slight
it.
my other friends,
Yeah,
but Jane,
I've been to
the Tin Man travels. So when I go through his phone,
He
he's not
knows
looking.
things.
That's what I'm looking for.
He knows things
He knows.
we don't.
Yes, he knows things. And I'm gonna stop talking right now.
It's in Florence, Italy.
Florence,
I've
yeah.
not been. I've
So
been to the
I've
Louvre,
seen it
and
then.
Okay, then you must
Yeah.
have seen it. Yeah, 'cause
Vaz, doggone it!
Yep.
I didn't know you were there.
Yep.
Well, I give up. I'm
I lived
punting
there.
now.
the Louvre takes forever to get through if you really want to look at everything. But I was gonna say, I'm like, I might have seen it. No,
Yeah.
I did not see that one.
I lived there
You lived in.
Yep.
Vaz,
from the ages of
is he messing with me right now?
He did I know he did his
from the
honeymoon
ages
and
of
then-
28 to 28 for a week.
Okay.
I technically, yes, I did live there.
Yes, that's good enough for me, man. You have my axe. Doesn't fit. Makes no sense. I'm just happy right now.
I did find a shirt that says "You have my axe," but Gimli's holding a guitar, and I was like, I want this shirt.
That's even better. Oh gosh.
So the birth of Venus, I looked it up a little bit, and so shorthand looked up, on Wikipedia. There's other deeper sources to go through, but just as a quick, feed me the bullet points type of thing, would have reminded its Renaissance viewers of the traditional iconography of the baptism of Christ, marking the start of his ministry on earth.
Really?
So,
Iconography.
iconography. The painting itself, the birth of Venus, celebration of love and beauty.
I thought Bananarama said it best. I'm gonna shut up.
But it says, you remember we were talking about the sea. So this is another quote. Painting depicts the goddess of love and beauty, Venus, arriving on the island of Cyprus after being born from the sea.
No way.
It's a celebration of love and beauty, both in secular and Christian context. So,
From
again,
the sea.
again. And you don't even see the sea until the last, 5 minutes of the movie.
You're hoping for the sea. I had a
Jokes
couple
I
other.
wanna say.
I had a couple other we'll get into it later because I'm like, is there any symbolism here? Because it seemed oddly put in there, and I can wait till they.
Okay. I'll
just
go
throw
through the
them in
ones
there.
I have.
Yeah,
then
go
you
through the
can-
ones you have, and I'll just throw stuff at you guys and see what you guys thought of it afterwards. Because
I wrote down on here, biblical inciting event. I said Theo is kidnapped and brought to a room of pages with a bright spot. And I said that it feels like he's jumping into a book, as in the Bible, jumping into documentation of historical event. So that's when his journey starts, that he's introduced, okay, here's this situation, we need your help. Can you help us? And that's when he starts his journey, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty cool symbolic way of doing it. It's almost like he's jumping into a bunch of pages, like he's jumping into the documentation of history, as in the Bible.
Whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
And I thought it was also interesting because I wanted to go the Julian character. I wanted to interpret a little bit more because when we see her, she's in these pages as well, but there's a bright light.
Yeah, like it's like keeping you from seeing her directly.
Right, and
Yeah.
it's almost like a divine light, like like the flaming bush or something.
Yeah.
No jokes there.
Look at this guy keeping his face shut.
I'm reflecting. I'm just being me, man. I'm just.
No jokes. No jokes. Of
course not.
Serious. Very
Very
serious.
serious. I'm downright pious right now.
Look at
I'm downright
what
pious.
time is it? It's Sunday. It's Sunday morning. You
Definitely
heathens.
Sunday.
You made the
Definitely
connection.
Sunday.
You sinners.
It's definitely Sunday. I didn't even know what day it was, okay? So you can't really get mad at me, all right?
That's as Rick Moranis.
It's going to get worse the later it gets.
And ready for this one now?
I'm ready.
So I had the subtitles on because I'm trying to figure this out. I couldn't tell if they were the fishers or the fishes. With their accent, the fishes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
The
see what you
fishers.
mean.
The
Boy,
fishers.
where'd you go there to fishes?
Yes.
So either way, though.
Blimey.
Either way, fishes as in connection to water, and the actual for the purpose of telling the story, their goal is to oppose the council that rules England, including rounding up of criminals and manipulation of the elderly. And so those are all the people in need of redemption that they're trying to speak to and trying to improve. Although they get misguided once their original leader in Julian passes away, then they forget why they're doing what they're doing. It seems like
That's if I could interject there about the fishes, right? I mean, symbolism of the fish, the early church, their symbol, their little secret symbol of followers of Christ. You know what I mean? Their symbol. Why you get that's why my next tattoo will be the fish, right? But like, and that's it's funny, the only symbol that I actually have, because he said, look for symbolism. I'm like, well, I have mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're taking mine. I don't have much to say about it, just the obvious symbolism of the early church. And then I thought, as I was watching it, I'm like, well, they're not behaving like the early church. Wow, they're not behaving like the church at all anymore. Then I thought, aha, taste the soup. Aha.
This is a very Jewish.
It's it's better. It's actually a better example of the church. It even galvanizes it more because they were on fire and they had the right ideal. They had the right idea. They were rebelling against the original authority. They were standing up for trying to find the real hope, as opposed to like a forced hope. And so they did symbolize the early church, I think. And then they lost their way and got corrupted. Can't talk about the present church any more than saying things like that.
Okay.
Or as far as organized religion and the corruption that sinks in, and just losing the plot. If I had to say, Chris, tell us what your thoughts are about, the current church, the 2024 church. I'll say there, same hope, same Savior. Let's go. Same mission.
Yeah.
Same Jesus, same God, same power, same Holy Spirit. But then someone would say, okay, now bring it down more pragmatically. What does the lost world believe about? What does the lost world need to see about Christ and about the church? And I'll say they need to not see us lose the plot so often. They need to see us keep the main thing, and not just fight these other battles using the Bible or using the cross as our weapon of choice.
Yeah.
They need to see us keep not losing the plot. So that actually makes the symbolism stronger, because the farther we've come, the more we lose the plot sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
sir.
I would say that they.
And when I say we, I mean me specifically. I'll own that.
Oh, okay. I agree, though. But,
Yeah.
Fishes being maybe fishers of men.
Yep.
The whole
nice.
plot for they said it like 3 times. They were just like, we're fighting for equal rights for the immigrants. Fuji's have just as many rights as the citizens here have. So it's almost like we're going to encompass everyone. And that's what they want to do. They're like, hey, we're fighting for equal rights. He got a bag over the guy's head with a gun. Like, whether you like it or not, this is what we want. But, do you really need the gun pointed at all these people you're asking for help for? But, misguided, but they still are trying to do what they think is right.
So I have that typed out right
good.
there too. So whether it's fishes or fishers, we've got you covered.
Yeah, that's right.
And the going off of the that group, I had that they're focused on like the dogma and rules and what are we doing here, and where Julian was kind of like almost like open ended, like we're kind of just fighting for the future. We're doing what's right. And so once they got a little corrupted in their views, I wanted to bring up one instance of where they're focused on the, like I said, the dogma or the rules and what you can and can't do. There's a scene where Theo is eavesdropping and Luke is telling the Charlie Hunnam's character, you know, if you break protocol again, I'm gonna have to kill you. Right? Mm-hmm. Now there's a scene shortly after that where Theo then takes Key and Miriam and they leave, and Hunnam's character is right there with the gun pointed at Theo in the driver's seat, and he's yelling back, "I've got a clear shot, can I shoot him?" So instead of, you know, if your goal is to not let this woman leave and the guy's right here, yeah, you shoot him. There's no wild, crazy machine gun fire. You have a clear shot. You have the gun pointed at him. But instead he's reaching back. Hey, I have a clear shot. Can I do it? Are you allowing me? Can I break protocol? And so, again, an instance of trying to create and follow rules rather than remembering the main idea of your faith.
Man, I love that. Tradition. You know, just like, I'm going to cross the I's and dot the T's.
And
when I write a sentence, gosh help me.
And dot the lowercase j's.
That's right. Kick, save, and a butte.
And I think we talked enough about like the idea of the human project and the boat's named the Tomorrow, and the idea of Luke and kind of lumping in with the fishes, I think. I did mention that the names were kind of interchangeable, Children of Men as a whole. And then even like Theo and Key, they don't really belong to a gender. They're kind of unisex. They're just names. All right, so we went over the lyrics from "Oh Holy Night" and related them to the movie. We went over symbolism and the use of names and dialogue in the movie. I think we covered it, enough of the idea of ultimate hope. Just that, to me, it's very, I guess it's not subtle, but it's almost like a subconscious thing as you're watching, that the hope is building. Because, like I said, you see a lot of people die and bad things happen and just war and conflict, but you see people doing something for a cause now. So you saw Jasper giving himself up for a cause so that Miriam, Key, and Theo could get away. And you're seeing
Miriam give up herself.
Miriam sacrifice
herself.
And her sacrifice was like, you know, look at me, I'm a big distraction. I have no clue what we're going to do, but here's an extra 5 seconds for Theo to come up with anything while I leave.
Yeah.
And it was enough for Theo to you know, say, oh, she peed herself, you know, and he's mumbling.
Like he doesn't speak English first. Yeah.
And, you know, again, going back to how we treated language, you know, how we discussed already.
And it was enough for them to like pass by Key and they yank her off the bus and they, you know, they pull her aside, bag over her head and, you know, like, oh, she's gone. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that was just enough for them to move on to the next section.
Right. And it was
get a little closer to the,
like, so
such selfless acts though, going forward.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Rather than, you know, you just saw senseless acts before. So I thought it was so cool how you build up this desire for something good to happen. So when it does, it's to me it was like almost overwhelming, and to see it happen on screen and because it almost looks unrealistic for these soldiers to just stop what they're doing and watch these people just pass through the crowd, because as far as they know, they're part of the refugees and they should be, or they're part of the fishes and should be,
you know,
right, they're attacked and or whatever.
Uprising. Yeah, they're part of the uprising.
So that was my idea of the like ultimate hope was just they don't even know what it means. It's a new baby, hasn't happened in 18 years.
18 years, yeah.
And all we know is there's one. And for the people that saw it, that was enough to inspire, to break the conflict for a few mere seconds.
Yeah, and I feel like you felt it, though, when you watched that movie. You were like, they
gosh.
built up enough where you're like, oh, wow, that's real. Like, they're feeling it, too. So it was cool.
even three of us that watched it our fourth or fifth time here before the production, there was a pause here in our conversation to take note of what each one was doing and the look on their face, and the weight of that moment wasn't lost on us. 18 years after the original, and even after a couple, we've all watched it this week, I think, at least once, and we're like, right there, yeah, and we noticed different things too, like their faces, and like, oh man, they pulled off a nice moment there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, I know when we reviewed movies in the past, I would ask favorite scenes and what you thought the most important scenes were. So for me, most important scene, we've talked about it quite a bit, is when they're walking past all the soldiers. But I wanted to give attention to the actual birth scene too, because, like no room at the inn, and, they had to resort to the bare minimum, and that's where she gave birth, was the bare minimum. There's just the buckets for washing and a mattress and one blanket.
Yeah.
And again, that was the second time someone saw. I don't even know if you mentioned the podcast. The first words out of a few people's mouths when they see the baby is Jesus Christ.
Right.
Like so.
Yeah.
So if you thought that this movie's not about anything religious or no Jesus, whatever, nativity, whatever, boo-hoo. Theo says it. Theo, his name is related to that, says Jesus Christ when he sees the baby. And if that wasn't enough, like he added in that other character after the birth when they're there. Like
Sid says it, I think.
Yeah.
Sid says it too.
So I wanted to at least give that scene a little credit. But I think that was both my favorite and the most important, was when they just exit. They come across all sorts of people too. It wasn't just the soldiers, but they're going through the refugees that are housed in that building, and they're going past the fishes, and then they're going past the soldiers. So all sides, all ages, all people, all children of men, they're making their way through and kind of showcasing like the Savior as they're exiting and going on to the sea.
Yeah. I would say you said favorite scenes or scenes that stuck out the most. I don't want to use that same one, so we have to find something else. I do like.
You can use the same one though.
I don't want to. I don't want to. So this line stuck out to me. So this is after Jules or Julian. I think he calls her Jules, like as a nickname. But when she first takes him, they're in some kind of, I don't know what it looks like. It's like a big bus station or something, and he starts smoking again or whatever. And as he I don't know if I can. Maybe I can talk to my cousin because they need transit papers. The only way that they can get papers for this girl to cross across the country is if he goes to his cousin who's got the arts. He's got the political connection. He owns the Ark of the Arts, so all the world's famous art pieces are like housed by this guy. But when he's talking to her, he's kind of half in, half out. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to my cousin. He's not really buying in yet. And she's leaving. And the scene is the camera's backing away, like following him. She's in a distance, and she's still talking to him as the camera's moving away from her.
Pretty cool.
And she says to him, where's it at? The ringing in your ears, that's the cells dying. It's like their swan song. You'll never hear that frequency again, so enjoy it while it lasts. She says that to him as it's leaving, and it's almost like hey, this is this light we have, this little bit of hope we have, it's going to pass unless you do something about it. Like it's going to die. It's a swan song. Enjoy it while it lasts. Unless you want to jump in on this with us and maybe help us bring some light to this darkness, it's going to be gone. Is kind of how I took it. But I thought that was like a really cool scene where how it's shot.
Wait. You guys hear that?
Shut up.
I'm over here like a preacher of the old time gospel hour. I'm like, go. You preach it. You preach it right there. The idea that, hey, listen, the Holy Spirit's knocking at that door. That's the knocking I'm hearing. And you know what? You can tone it all you want. But that fades away, man. That's the drive right there. Don't let that fade away, man. Today's the acceptable day.
Sear your conscience.
Preach it, baby. Let's go.
Right. Like I thought that scene put a timeline on it.
Yeah.
And I
added weight and brevity to
that. Added to the despair for one, because it was like, you'll never hear that again. And time's running out. You'll never get that time again. But it also gave a little look at some hope, though. As in, now you have something to fight for.
And it was like directed at him because they were like, the bombings happened. Like, you're getting blown up right here where you're at, and you really need to do something about it. It's like, and it's related to the ringing from the bomb going off. And it's just like, no, it's enjoy it while it lasts, because then it's gone forever. So really got to step on this. So it was, I thought that held weight to it. And I like the way that scene was shot, because it's her talking and the camera's backing away.
That's cool.
Beautiful Tin Man.
Yes, well done.
So that was the scene that stuck out to me. I don't know if it's my favorite scene. That one stuck out to me.
And I gotta find the cameras that you have in my notes, so you stop stealing them.
I love that.
But if I were to add, that was my, you said two things, right? Favorite scene or one that was most important?
They could be the same thing, the same one.
I'll leave it at that then. I'll leave it alone.
Man, it's delicious. All right, so I dug into the verse, right? Or what I thought was the verse. I don't know what because there's probably dozens of verses that use children of men in Scripture. Mm-hmm. And so I dug into one that I thought might work, Psalm 115:16. The heavens are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men. So taking that one, meaning being what I think the movie was kind of about, like God purposely put men here, purposely gave the earth as dominion, purposely inhabited the earth with men on purpose, and is the reason for it, and is the purpose, and is the driving force behind populating the earth. And then there was a scene when you see the protesters with the signs, and many of the signs were blaming God for the infertility as a punishment. Did we hit another one of his? I don't know.
No, keep going.
Yeah, another and I just saw the contrast between the title of the movie and possibly the verse that it's referencing, and this sign saying, God, you're, with this fist to God saying, you're the reason for us in this plight that we're in right now. And the reason why that held so much weight for me and why I loved that scene is because I thought that is the natural state of man in rejection of God today. Mm-hmm. To say, you're not a savior, you're not a redeemer, you're not a thrill of hope, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You came in the world to condemn the world. You didn't come in the world to save the world. And that's the twisted view that I think it's portrayed in this movie, for crying out loud.
There's multiple people that have it twisted. I feel like everyone has an incorrect view, and the one shining light they're all ignoring is the woman, and because you have the repenters and the renouncers,
That's right.
they're mentioned
That's
as
right.
people who are like, were those the ones who kneel for a month for salvation? Like, no, those are the ones that flog themselves. What is it? Flagellate themselves.
That's right. Wow, that's good.
For humanity's forgiveness.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have a whole bunch of like kind of twisted versions of what it should be, and no one really has the correct focus on what needs to happen for humanity's
They're not
salvation
paying
and
attention
survival.
to that little baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, forgetting what the whole deal is here, forgetting what's important, and
This might be the best Christmas podcast ever. I just love it. I'm just going to sit here and
so
just smile.
we'll move right into it then. Why did Mr. Vozly pick this as his Christmas movie?
Oh, my. Because it's the best Christmas movie ever.
Because the reason for the season, this is a not metaphorical, an allegorical representation of the reason for the season.
That's right. And furthermore, it had guns. And good ones, too. It had good guns.
Had a lot of
Machine
good
guns?
guns, a lot of
Real
action
nice
pistols.
guns. A lot of great explosions. It had, what do you call it? A strike, an airstrike. Call in an airstrike, Call of Duty fans.
Mm-hmm.
Call in one. There it goes. Carpet bomb the whole place. We just got out of there. And then it had so many yummy payoffs. But not as many as this podcast has had for me tonight. This has had many yummy payoffs for me tonight. I mean, there were enlightened moments. There were moments like, I didn't see that. And there were amen moments. You don't get many of those out of me.
Yeah.
I'm a Baptist, for crying out loud. There's not many of those. So it's like having those over a movie that wasn't like, here's the wise men, here's the shepherds, here's the angels in the sky, here's the star over the Bethlehem. But it was exactly that under all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's man, really, really, really cool. And those lyrics, they almost fleshed out better through the conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Thrill of hope, a weary world rejoices. For yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. O night divine, O night when Christ was born. Give me that Christmas, fork and knife, yum.
And yeah, I looked at that too, but I stopped where I stopped in the lyrics, but of course they made sure that that baby was born in the nighttime, made sure it fit. But even the theme, I feel like it doesn't stop at, the nativity. We talked about just hope. Hope is the theme of Children of Men, to me anyway. Mm-hmm. And that's what we look for in Christmas time, whether because even if you're Christian or you're not Christian.
That's right. That's true.
Hope seems to be the common thing we look for around the holidays. Mm-hmm. So if you look at my criteria, it challenges it pretty well, but I can't deny when you say this movie's mirrors the nativity and the birth of Christ, the birth of a Savior. Then I am compelled to call it a Christmas movie. I feel one of the only movies that may break my criteria is Children of Men. And
yeah, I don't know if it fits.
there's no Santa, there's no Rudolph, there's no
Rudolph.
Christmas lights, no tinsel, no Christmas tree,
Traditional
no
tropes.
carols, no celebration.
They did want to name him Bazooka, though. So that's got to
Didn't
count for
want to
something.
name him Bazooka. Yeah. No, what was the first name?
I was just getting used to Froley.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
getting used to
that's
you. Was like, I was going to name Bazooka. I was just getting used to Froley.
Yes.
Well, Froley's a boy's name. So
Wonderful.
I do have questions I was going to throw in there. I know it's a nice place to wrap up, but I still had ideas or it's like little things I wanted to throw out there, what you guys had.
Okay.
So when they're in the Ark of Arts, they're the cousin, I believe it's Danny Houston.
Nigel,
That's his name. So him and Nigel are talking, and there's like a giant floating pig in the background. Is that supposed to mean something? And I tried to look into it a little. I didn't want to look into it on the internet. I didn't go to the internet, but I was like, what does this mean?
So I think in general, a pig is like the sign of like gluttony, I guess. So
okay.
So kind of like
okay.
he's keeping all these arts, and for what?
They
just
do mention that in their
misguided-
conversation too. Like, and for what?
Yeah, like a misguided. You're forgetting the point here. Like,
Yeah. Because people can't see them. No one can.
Like, what are you appreciating the art for?
Yeah.
We're all gonna die, type of thing. But to me, it was also like a subconscious way of interjecting some hope, as in like, things will come back and art will be.
I mean, there's why you call it the arc.
It'll
It's supposed to last the storm. They call it the arc of the arts. So it's like, oh yeah, well you gotta. The world is going to be destroyed, but we'll have this after the fact.
Again, the whole motif of water. The star of the sea, the son of the sea, new and glorious morn on the sea, and now you have the arc of the arts meant to survive the sea or whatever the
it's
water
almost, and it's almost like look at this generation gets it, but the next one, the son, he says his Alex, I think his name was. He's like, Alex. He finally responds to him. He's like, take your pills. He still doesn't look up from the game he's playing. He just reaches over and grabs his pills and takes it. But it's like, this is lost on the next generation, absolutely. But hopefully not tomorrow,
right?
I guess. Okay, that's cool. We have a couple other questions, I thought. Oh, they were handing out free suicide pills and free antidepressants. I believe they were free, but they were giving out suicide pills and antidepressants. So they were trying to keep the populace sane or die, And I think the one that kills you is called quietus.
Quietus.
So it's like, that's. And there was some quietus, like whatever however it's housed was on the ground, and was next to Jasper when Theo comes in, and Theo's like moves his hair over and he opens his eyes like, oh my gosh, I'm like, you're alive. And he's like, yeah, it kills the rats. Like, I thought you were.
Well, I think
why do you have this stuff?
He says that, but again, I think that was kind of foreshadowing, like, he has this on hand for when something, when stuff hits the fan, and he needs to not be tortured, or at least his wife not be subject to horrible things.
It's funny the amount of I was real thankful for the direction that we've gotten in tonight, because man, like you said, the movie is so rich in a lot of things, and like social commentary, there seems to be a ton. If you wanted it, like the fact that that she's black, that she's black, and like the whole cradle of civilization type thing from Africa type thing, and the fact that this white man, it's like she needs this white man to guide her, but he is just a tool. He is just the Joseph type character. It's not, she's carrying out this mission for this white. He's part of the tool bag that she has. He's a vehicle for her to get
almost
through
like
there.
all the steps that she needs to cross. They needed to be there just for them to get to the next point. It's like all the things it's like a video game where you garnered a new weapon just to beat this one character, because it's the only one that can get it.
Man, I love
that. And then it
The
breaks.
next one. And then it breaks, or you use it and it's like it can't be used in the next portion. You don't need it for the next portion. You need a different weapon for the next portion.
Side note, as far as weapons go, I don't build my own. I just follow Voz around on the board, wait for him to get a loadout, and pick up his sweet weapons. And then I die within 4 seconds.
That's not symbolic talk. No, that's Call of Duty talk.
That's Call of Duty. Sorry about that.
Here's symbolic.
I was listening to it with a
symbolically
symbolic
pick
lens.
up your weapons. No, we do. It still happens symbolically. We're like, he's got a good idea. Let's see if he drops anything behind we can scoop up.
So that was my my movie that challenges my rubric, that challenged all of our rubrics, really, of what a Christmas movie is.
I think Chris prefaced the last podcast. He prefaced his rubric for what a Christmas movie was, as long as if it was going to go outside the nativity, he added that into his rubric. So he might be the only one who holds up after this movie. I think mine's broke, yours broke. I think his is the only one that held up after this one.
But it's already
you
digested.
Can win day 2.
I ate it last week.
He lost the battle, but he wins the war.
We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah, there we go.
It's lost, gone forever.
It's still 2-1. Depth perception has spoken. What a good time tonight, guys.
Yeah, solid. This was a cool movie. This definitely had a lot.
It works on so many levels. Like if you just want to watch it as like a chase movie, I mean, go ahead. You
As
don't
an
even have to look into
action
it.
thriller. He's a near future dystopian action thriller, but it also had the mother biblical allusions
Yes.
behind it all
I
that you
felt
kind
a
of had
little
to dig
of that
into.
mother vibe throughout this. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
I didn't know what to make of
tracking
it.
scenes. Yep. Long tracking. No breaks, no cuts in scenes that are really long.
Yeah, like technically, like well done.
Are technically
and
well
tumbling
done.
toward disorder too. You
Yes.
could feel that it's
Yep.
coming apart. It's coming apart. It's coming apart.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was a slow burn at first, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it's coming apart now.
With the birth of a savior.
Yep.
I like that towards the end there's a shrieking music portion that Tin Man pointed out.
Yeah, it
But
seemed like the only
it
score
showed it.
in the section.
It showed it when they're going through a tunnel.
Yeah,
and
yep.
so like at some point I want to rewatch it and look for all of the subtle shots that build your idea of hope. So like the idea of going through a tunnel and there's light at the other end of the tunnel and you're going towards it and you're going through like you're passing through towards the future, towards something good. So I feel like, because there's, like we said, that all it does is build despair, but by the end of it, you are overwhelmed with a sensation of hope. And so future viewings, I want to look and see what other tools are used to build that subconscious feeling. Because otherwise, I mean, everything tells us that we shouldn't feel any different by the end of the movie. Oh, it's one baby. What's one baby going to do? Blah, blah, blah. But we don't feel that way.
No, we don't.
And I mean, I think there was another tunnel, too, when he's talking with Julian after he gets out of the room that's plastered with newspaper clippings. He gets out of there and he's talking with her. And I think
Yeah, I thought it was like a
walks
bus.
down a
I thought
tunnel,
I thought
like
it was
a
like
terminal
a
of some sort.
Yeah, I thought it was like a terminal. I thought it was like a train station or something.
So it was like
That's where she says that line.
things like that, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, if you're at a train station, like the object is to go somewhere. You're going
Yeah.
to a destination. So be interesting to see some of that and how it made us build hope without us even really realizing it. So.
Cool.
All right, so that was Mr. Vozly's pick for Christmas movie. Were we still thinking Red One, or are you gonna brainstorm?
I don't know. I saw the one, the one Jack Black movie where the kid writes the note to Santa, but it goes to Satan instead. So Jack Black plays Satan in a Christmas movie. So
About face.
let's twist this around a little bit. Let's see if we can. So I saw that and I was like, huh. But if we want to pick a movie that we've all seen, I can find something else.
Okay,
Unless we go see Dear Satan.
because I know K-Max has a spot on one, like a very classic one that I kind of wanted to save for last because it was so classic. But if you
Okay.
come up with an even more classic one, then we'll switch them.
Oh man,
But yeah, let us know.
we'll do Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. All right.
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. No.
Was that 1974?
Oh, is that the one that Elvis said was one of his favorite movies?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we have to watch it now.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
During-
Mr.
during the
Vozly's got
day.
it.
74. You're right. Right on.
Man.
This guy. All right, guys. Any last? Well, we don't know what the next episode's going to be. But any last words for this episode, Children of Men?
Oh, 2 thumbs up.
That was terrific. I thought, you can combine the likes of all three speakers here in this room, and I thought that was masterful selection to do that. And I'd be hard pressed to try to find something that could touch all three of those criteria of what we like in a movie. Because sometimes I feel like, man, how are we even all friends with some of the stuff that we like? I'm like, how does this work? I mean, we all like breakfast. Okay, great.
Yeah.
We love our children. There's another one.
Coffee was good.
Yeah, we like basketball. That's another thing. But it's like, man, this one just nailed it. I think we all enjoyed watching it and talking about it, man. This is probably the one night that I've seen everybody with our note pages full, and I had multiple pages of my phone too.
Beauty.
That's exciting, and I hope it comes through in the conversation.
I think it's crazy too because I feel we just barely scratched the surface of the movie. Like I said, we didn't even talk about music or soundtrack or anything, and I feel like that's going to be a big part of it, enhancing certain themes of the movie. But perhaps that's another episode altogether.
Hey, check out 2 tunes. They're not companions. They're not part of a soundtrack. They just, when I was watching this movie, it made me they come flying into my head. Mark Lowry's married, did you know? One Small Child by an artist named Rebecca St. James. Just really, really interesting, and just feels like it could have been played throughout different scenes in this Children of Men.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I just think there's a string version of Rebecca St. James, One Small Child, whose little brothers are for King and Country, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows who any of them are. That's her little baby brothers. Anyway.
Oh, nice.
All right. Beautiful. Merry Christmas.